blindly fought for so many causes, but never truly fought for the cause called me. And that tells me a lot of self-reflection about me, right? Because sometimes we fight for everything outside of us, especially a lot of women. That's what we do. We'll fight for everything. We'll fight for everybody. We'll stand up for everybody. We'll organize other people's business. We'll get their stuff together. We can even go clean other people's houses better than we clean our own. But I fought every single battle, but the battle for me. And so when I tell you that I'm about to fight this shit tooth and motherfucking nail, and they got this, like I'm about to fight this thing from the rooter to the tutor. You understand it? Like I'm like this is my battle. This is my strike. Like the day someone denied my pain, like it's completely up and stuff. I'll make sure a woman will never feel like me again. Never. You can turn it down, but I can hear in the background. So, the young lady last night was just amazing. She's been on the phone with me all day long. I've been talking to the producers of Surviving R. Kelly. We are doing a series, a documentary. So if you do have a situation and or scenario that you have been encountered by Tamika, by Tiny and or Tip, please email me, chime in, because we're doing a documentary on the pain that has been caused in our community due to those two. So we are doing a complete documentary where you will be able to see, you'll be able to hear all these women's grueling and gruesome stories. And it's a shame how people use fame and they use quote unquote clout to demean women, and they want to stand on the forefront of things and and scream out Black Lives Matter and I'm this person. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Can you point me in the right direction if I live in Florida? Go to. I think you put it in. Hold on. Let's see. Shit, I'm trying to answer the question. Okay, that was the one. How do you go to the next one? A sexual relationship? Boy, sit your motherfucking ass down. Oh, pretty, okay. You fought for people who didn't care for themselves as for me before. Damn. So, I'm gonna get all these damn pre-rolls out. It's my favorite thing to do. Like, living in my passion and my purpose is, it's like I enjoy the cannabis and hemp industry. I did it in the black market at first, and I'm just really enjoying this taste and place. I'm truly enjoying it. For the girls who said I had questions about getting into this business, you could take one. Questions about getting into this business, you could take one of my on cannabis and hemp. So right now I'm live. You know where you can find me. Hey, niece. Hey, baby. Hey, Werner. You need some tea? Which one? We got all new teas too, boo. I don't pick up for me. Exactly. How's all this made you feel, baby? To my nieces, how this made you feel? Milka, how did all this make you feel?
Frazzled.
Huh?
Frazzled.
You was frazzled?
Yeah.
Aw. Why?
I really wasn't expecting it. I didn't expect that to be what happened to you. And then, of course, the social media aspect.
You said what?
And then, of course, the social media aspect can't help.
Kalina, how did it make you feel? You say you was annoyed? What made it annoying for you? I know all my nieces called me and hey Vanessa. All my nieces called me and reached out because they were really affected by like, yo, like, bro, she finna sit there and lie like that? They was really upset about old girl in her lives. Like, for real? She would have been better off sitting down shutting the fuck up than to lie. That was the common call in our family. Oh, you said the public and their basis responses sent you. Exactly, right?
That was more of a comment.
You said what?
I think that's what it was.
Oh, that's what it was. Oh, but y'all can't, like, they really don't be knowing shit. Exactly. But you know, people want to paint a perception that fits their reality. I mean, I'm sure the perception they painted didn't involve me owning a large cannabis company and or, you know, having my own brand and or where's our new seasons, baby? Let me see them. You know, and or having a product line. I'm sure it didn't. You know, when you think of girls who are victims, you don't think of women in business and entrepreneurs that finally have healed themselves and they can speak up on their transgressions in their life. You know the story. You know what happened. Anyone who knows me know what happened. Like, this is I'm saying, this is my brand and this is my growth process and this is my business. And yes, successful women at one point in their lives weren't successful and they became victims. You know, and at the end of the day, I spoke when I think out of the smartest thing to do, I spoke as a woman. I spoke one thing about war, you gotta have money to fund that bitch. See, a lot of people jump off the fucking porch when you don't have the money and or the strategy to carry out what you're doing. But one of the most dangerous cold places of war to be is around a motherfucker that can fund it. Now I'm in a space and place that these women have spoke up and I could pay for their therapy. I'm in a space and place that I'm saying, like, I feel like at this point I'm going with legal counsel because of the lie that was told that implied that I'm lying. So this financially in space and place to do that. So like a lot. So if you're not in a position to go at it full throttle. Like, and I'm so passionate about what I've been through that I'm willing to spend a whole motherfucking check and then some. And then some. I'm willing to blow the motherfucking whole house on it and then some. You see the trays? Yes. I'm making pre-rolls. Hold on. Thank you. That was sweet. Why? Don't do. Hold on. Let me give you this one right here. This is a good comment.
The stickers are ready.
They are? Okay. Do you recommend counseling? Do you recommend counseling to the people that you're... Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Imagine not being able to heal, but then things happen to you and being scared of the repercussions of speaking up about it. You know, imagine that. Imagine how that feels. You know, some of these girls are hopeless. Some of these girls are just dancers. Some of these girls don't, like... The one woman that he kicked down the door of her house, she moves like every 6 months for the past 6 to 8 months, for the past 13 years. She's moved. Her children are now 20-something years old, still reliving that trauma, still having to watch him on TV, and knowing that's the guy that put them in the closet with a fucking gun. disgusting to see what politicians and I'm saying like rally behind. It's hurtful. It's very hurtful. When you know those very same people, you know what I'm saying, have done things to you and your family. Not like it's hurtful. It's very hurtful. It's very, very hurtful. I definitely recommend counseling. I'm getting. Thank you, baby. Is that strictly CBD? Can you buy it? Yes, you can. You can buy it in Atlanta, but if you're going to sell it, you have to have a processor license in Atlanta. So go to the Department of Agriculture and get a processor license in order to have and hold hemp. But you can buy it. Yes, it's definitely legal. It's legal in all 50 states. I don't know. Anyone come forward with something there? No, Toya. Mm-hmm. That's a really good question. That's a good question. Because she didn't do it to me. She's not the person that put it on my head. Looking at it, hindsight being 2020. But I was never his friend. I was always her friend. So my relationship or my bond wasn't towards him. It's always been towards a friend. So that's a good question. And what the woman said earlier, true comments. Oh, perfect. So the picture that was posted of my son, I wish you guys could talk, was at a car wash in Atlanta. And if you know anything about a car wash, what happens when you give your keys? You're there. And it's not like I don't know him. I know him very well. I'm saying it's not like his kids are there, my children are there, so why would they not? And when we sat and we had our few words, and I'm like, hey, these are boys. Like, you got some tips on raising them, and that was it. They took a picture together. He told me to bring them by. They've never been nowhere with him, nowhere around him. And that was the end of the conversation. It was a caption in a picture while we were stuck at a fucking car wash. It wasn't a situation or a place that I could leave or walk, just that my car is there. And when you walk into this place, if you've ever been to this car wash in Atlanta, it's like a restaurant and car wash. So once you walk, you can't really see who's in there until you walk all the way in the door. Does that help you some? So she knew that picture was some bullshit. But the disrespectful part was to put my child up on her page. Now that was very disrespectful. Oh no. Sabrina, why are you very disrespectful to black women on Instagram? Every time I ask you a question, hold on, let me read this. Every time I ask you a question, you're very rude to me, but you say, hold on, stop, it's not finished. Okay, so rule number 1, I don't have to be fucking nice. Nice isn't a requirement. And if someone asks you something that you don't want to answer or you don't feel comfortable answering, you have the right to not answer it. So everyone on Instagram doesn't come off nice to me. So obviously, I don't know a person that's been nice to me that I've been rude to. It's just anyone that knows me can tell you that. So obviously, I am a Cancer. And so we do match frequencies and we match vibrations. So obviously you must have come off kind of rude for me in order for me because I don't just wake up rude. That's just not my DNA. That's a charge that I'm not going to plead guilty to. You won't put that on me. I'm not. No, never apologize for what happened to me. He did a dry apology. You said, I remember that day you had custody of your nephew. Yeah. Okay, perfect, Lusher. Okay, hold on. Okay. I don't know if I'm trying to see if... Okay, I'm trying to answer. Most of the questions was questions I already answered. You said, I remember that day you were live. Why'd she do that? Exactly. So now that you know the full context of the picture, you know the picture was bullshit. And that you're fucking, you're reaching. But I'm not a nasty person to the point that I'm gonna make my child not like you until my child is fucking 6-7 years old. Like, don't touch my kids. And anyone on here will tell you I was on live, so the interaction was very brief because I was on live the whole time there. So, hold on. So that was reaching. You know how people do, they're reaching. Thank you, baby. How you holding it? I'm good. I'm in a good space and good place, man. I prescribe everybody to get this shit the fuck off your chest. Man, if you been holding some shit, man, it's the best thing I ever did for myself. And then you gotta kind of bear and grin at you in certain places and spaces, and you're like, man, these people are demons. And you're just like, man, these people are evil. These people are fucking devils. And you just and you just gotta kind of bear and grin because everybody's like, oh, no. You're like, so the best thing I ever did was let off my chest. If you have something on your chest, I definitely think you should let it off. So once again, that's false information. Never sliced a woman in the face. I sliced a woman in her hand and her legs. But let me give you the significance of that story. She sent a message to someone. Said she has nerve damage, and so I reached out to her today and for her to see if I could pay to have her nerve damage and her leg fixed. When she sent someone a message and said she had nerve damage from me cutting her, I felt really bad. So she got cut in her hand because it was a fight, and she got cut in her leg when she tried to kick me. So that's what happened with that. And so fixing her nerve damage doesn't make it any better. But I think at the end of the day, me calling her and reaching out to her and acknowledging what was done to her and letting her, allowing her to call me a bitch and so forth and so on, and she was able to, and I told her to call me back if she had anything else she wanted to get off her chest, and to find out about a specialist to be able to get her nerve damage fixed, because at the end of the day, I don't want somebody walking around with trauma and damage on them when, when at this point in my life, I have the expenses to be able to take care of it. So I'm sure she wasn't too happy to hear from me. She didn't sound very happy to hear my voice, but I think it's probably a sense of relief to be able to know, like, hey, you know, the person, you know what I'm saying, like, the person does care. Like, they just not saying fuck you and deal with your own pain and you know what I'm saying, wallow in it, all that kind of stuff. So I think that was a step in the right direction. I'm not sure. Girl. You said she sent you the same message? Not working. Hold on. Okay. That's a good question. That's a good question. So, Quetta, are you, if anyone's on here from Atlanta, you would know that approximately 3 years ago, when she got into office, that a lot of these crimes that were going on wasn't focused towards white women weren't being robbed, nor were men being robbed at these gas stations. The focus and the focal point was actually robbing one of the most underprotected species on earth, which is black women, and black women with children. So I really had a problem with the fact that this was an ongoing thing and that there were women in their cars with their kids that was being victims of slaughter crimes. It was women that were pumping their gas and then their purse, you know what I'm saying, getting their purse snatched off the back seat and things of that nature. And I just really felt like, dang, you know, for myself, when it was time for her to be voted in, like I was even sending food and pizza and stuff to the polls for people to stay on the polls. And I just really felt, and for me, I really needed the law to work in my favor, right? Because I'm a convicted felon, so I can't carry a gun. So the night when they had my car, they had my car, they had my purse was in there, they had all my mail, they had my address was on my insurance card. So at this point in my life, when I don't live or do anything illegal, I can't have a gun. So I had no way to protect me and my child, but then I was able to go to a hotel. But as me being an advocate, thinking more about, okay, what about the women that can't afford to get a hotel? What about the women who this can't happen to tonight? They need their car in the morning to go to work. And what about the woman who can't afford to reprogram her garage door thing and can't afford to pay $400 in the middle of the night to rekey her whole house? And what about the girl who, like myself, who her child 9 times out of 10 would have been in the back seat? They would have pulled off with my kid. And just what about them? Like my situation may be a little bit different, but at the end of the day, just because my situation is different, you got to look at things for what other people are experiencing too. And when I experienced that, and I experienced the fact that I have an audience and things like that, so I was able to I have notable friends that was posting the car and things of that nature. And when my car was stolen, it was newsworthy and all that kind of stuff. But that's not the same case for the girl who doesn't have a brand, who doesn't have it's a totally different scenario. So at that moment, when I went to the police station, the police told me, Sabrina, the only thing we can do here is arrest. That's the only thing we can do as police. We can only make arrest. That's all we can do. If you really want something done, you're gonna have to go see the DA, and you're gonna need to go down to City Hall. At that point, I went down to City Hall. When I went down to City Hall, it was like no one had no fucking answers for me. I uncovered who the head boy over the slaughter crimes. We got cool. That baby wants to be a chef. he doesn't even want to do slighter crimes. I'm saying they come to his house and try to pick him up in X, Y, and Z. I got him a job being a chef. The other boys from the high schools I spoke at, these young men, like, so it's two victims. So that was my real problem with the mayor. It's like, listen, you don't understand, like, you being oblivious and people coming to Atlanta and you not making, you saying no warnings about crime, you're creating more victims, number one, through your silence, like I did. And then number two, the target of this thing, what I'm saying, was black women. And for you to be a black woman, to be so oblivious to what's going on, to act like you don't have a solution for it and or no type of resolution, it was horrible. I'm saying, I got really, really pissed, and I stood up there for 7 whole days, and I missed work, and I protested X, Y, and Z, but I was just kind of dumbfounded how all the things was going in the city, and she was at the Oscar, at Grammys and this, and that. I'm like, why is you doing all this, and there's people actually here dying? In the city you're supposed to be watching over. So I had a real issue with that. And I had a real issue with the fact that regular smuggler people didn't have a voice. Like I can go speak at, they listen to me from ranting this and third, but like, damn, if I had to do all that for them to have an ear, then what does another girl have to do? So I don't like that. I don't like how, I don't like nothing about what's going on down there. Accountability isn't easy, but it is. And one of the hardest things to be able to say is what you did wrong. That's one of the hardest things to say. Let's see. Hold on. Oh yeah, definitely I will. Hold on. She wasn't my assistant. And do I regret I needed to go to prison. Honestly. Do I regret what happened to her? Yeah, I wish it didn't happen to her. But did I need to go to I needed to go to prison. I really did. I needed the rest. I needed to. It was so many things back to back, from the gun situation to being under, the federal radar for 2 fucking huge indictments. Like, it was a lot. I was really tired. Like, my business had worn me down, and pregnancy and going through the entire Fed case and burying my employee, and it was just back-to-back storms. That for some reason I wasn't able to see clear. I wasn't able to think clear. I wasn't able to do anything clear. So prison was one of the best things that ever happened to me. Also, I never thought twice about things. So I used to fight and be, like a loose cannon and this, that, and third. And I never really thought twice about, because, fighting to me, I never fought with, like, I guess after what happened to me, I would never fight again without a weapon. That's probably how she ended up getting cut. Once I realized that when I'm fist fighting, people come with guns, I think from that point forward, I never fought without a weapon, or never went into any situation without one. But fast forward, I needed the rest. That's just me. I needed the rehabilitation. Like, I honestly needed that. That was the best thing for me, to realize, hey, Keila, to realize that fat meat was greasy. You made us to understand anything. You know I am. I love you. But I needed that rest. Like, I honestly, and so many people can't say that about themselves, because everyone once you get in trouble, you want to get immediately out of it. But I needed the freaking rest. I had been through too much, y'all. I was tired. From just all the betrayal, I was tired. I couldn't take no more, honestly. What that girl got from me was an example of a bitch who could not take another thing. I could not take another nothing. I don't know if anybody else ever felt that way, where you just like, I can't take no more. Hold on. Hold on. See. Hold on. Is the lemon pepper on the site? Good question. Y'all gotta realize that people are unstable in their ways. And the same people that was ranting and talking crazy have now flipped the page and was saying, oh, I believe her now. Like, you can't take what people are, you saying that you have to stand in your truth. You can't stand in people's emotions. People's emotions are all over the place. You feel me? I'm saying, and people who are on the internet, they're just responding to respond. They don't have, you know what I'm saying, they're not, you know what I'm saying, you might care about me, or you know what I'm saying, I care about me, so you might think deeper into it, but they're not thinking no deeper into the, you know what I'm saying, little spiteful, nasty words they just said, and they move on. It's, you know what I'm saying, it's all spur of the moment for them. It's not that deep and thought out and, as you think it is. But then you got to realize that the people who exert that kind of energy exists around them. So, like, spewing out negativity makes you end up having to be in a negative place. Regardless of where you put the negative energy at, it's still attached to you. So, you like, that's more stressful for them than it is for me. Because whatever was said, time is going by and you're going to have to completely eat that. Whether you eat it publicly or you eat it silently, you're going to have to eat it. When I tell you that right there is real, I learned a lot in that season. I learned a lot about being loyal to myself. That's the number one thing. Like, I was so raised that loyalty was my lifestyle, and whoop, doop, doop, and I would be loyal to everyone else but me. To the point that I was emotionally, spiritually, and mentally depleted. Love you too, Killer. And so I was emotionally depleted. Like, I was emotionally, mentally, and spiritually depleted. Like, sometimes we become so loyal that we don't even think about the loyalty to ourselves and to our family or to our kids and to our X, Y, and Z. Like, sometimes we get into marriages, relationships, and friendships, and we become more loyal to those things than we are to our basic necessities, our basic goods, I'm saying our basic well-being. This is Lifter. You're welcome, babe. Hold on. That's a lot of questions. Hold on, baby. Hold on, I'm trying to read them all. Girl, I don't know. That's a good question. Like, I don't freaking know. Atlanta needs some sage. Like, we need to get back to the prayer warriors. I think the church has been closed too long. Something going on. Like, there's something in the, I don't know what the heck. But you know something? You know what ain't happening no more? Ain't no more Bible school. Y'all remember having to go to Bible school and Bible study? Ain't no, so these children not in church. That's what's going on. Not even mine. I gotta get mine in church. That's what's going on. These kids ain't in church. They don't have no church homes. They don't have, they don't have no church groups. The churches aren't even doing outreach like they used to in the community. And everybody else wants to live someone else's life. That's true. Like, that's, and I think social media, man. social media is really changing the fabric of our people. Social media is good for awareness and you said no spirit, exactly, like social media is good for that, but I couldn't imagine being a young child, like growing up in this social media era of constant comparison and materialism. I couldn't imagine that. I think the best advice I can give you now, if you're a mom, is to teach your children to use social media as a marketing and business tool. To not let them see you on social perusing and just doing leisure things. To see you so that they understand that this is a tool to make money, to build a brand, to build awareness, but not to just sit on there and cruise and this is not like another form of television. I think that's what needs to be taught by example, though, not by words, but by example. I'm trying to read all the questions and get to. I want to answer most. I want to answer. Hold on. You say shorty, hold on. I'm trying to read them. So back to that, there was a few questions about my child. Let me go. How many things have happened to you, right? That you have moved past, that you moved on from, right? For your own peace, for your own peace of mind that you can speak of. How many of y'all been through something traumatic that you've moved on from? And is it okay or not okay to speak to if it's something that happened to you? So if you're talking about something that happened about 13 years ago, and you're talking about 2 years ago, if I've moved on and moved past it, I believe it's okay if that's a part of my story. I think that I'm at leisure to speak about my story. I think I have the right. The same way I have the right to speak about my labor, the same way I have the right to speak about my company, the same way I have the right to speak about my prison stint, the same way I have the right to speak about being a single mother, the same way I'm transparent in my brand about, activism, the same way that I spoke about my car. I don't think I don't understand how it's so off limits to speak about what you've been through. How is that just, how is it just, oh my God, I can't believe you talk to you. So in this world y'all live in, you feel like you should just, things should stay bottled up. Exactly. You think you should just not so in so many words, I'm not allowed to speak on my truth. That's kind of weird. I was a victim and saw many more. He watches his daughter, but they will destroy yours. Ooh. I was a victim and saw many more. Damn.
baby.
That's real facts. I'm trying to read.